we were talking about several limiting beliefs that people have around vision improvement. One of them is that that with age, your vision is going to deteriorate and that there's nothing you can do about it, and that when you get glasses, well, you have to be stuck with them for life. And if you don't use them, your vision gets worse. And if you use them, your vision gets worse. And there seems to be no escape. So this is completely a false and incomplete belief. It's a limiting belief, and it's not actually accurate information. And I can talk about it in different ways. For example, I think I already mentioned in the last Facebook Live that in the past, 20 years ago, the normal moment to start needing reading glasses was 50 years of age. And nowadays, it's 40 years. That is, in 20 years of time, we have lost 10 years of quality of vision. This is not something that's related to genetics or anatomy or physiology. This has to do with our way of life, how our way of life has changed. Nowadays we spend, and especially with the lockdown, we spend much more time indoors with less natural light and looking at, with artificial light, looking at screens, looking near, and being in stress, and all of these conditions are worsening our eyesight much faster. But the good news is that these are things that we can change around. Okay, as soon as the lockdown is over, or when in the places that it's over, we can go outside, we can spend more time in the sun, or even if we're at home, we can open the windows, we can have more light, can get into our homes. We can look at the far from the windows, and we can make sure that we spend time looking far. In the first Facebook Live, I also mentioned the importance of blinking, the importance also of yawning. So if we are actively practicing some of these things, we can reduce the effect of bad habits that accumulate during the time. Actually, the only effect of age on our eyesight is the accumulation of bad habits. But if we learn good habits, we can not only keep a good eyesight, but we can even keep improving it with age throughout time. And that's what's happening to me, and that's what's happening to many of my students. Another example of this is in Asia. In Asia, and this is not new of 2020 or the past times, in Asia, in one generation, myopia or nearsightedness has increased from about 50% of people in the population having nearsightedness, having myopia, to over 90% of people having this vision problem. If it was a genetic thing, the change would only be of 2% up or 2% down. So we would go from 50% to 52% of the population, or from 50% to 48% of the population, because with genetics, it could go both ways. But an increase from 50% to over 90%, sorry, but this doesn't have anything to do with genetics. It has to do with habits, with way of life. Plus, the most recent research in epigenetics is showing to us that genetics doesn't mean that things are determined for life, that it's craved in marble, but genetics are actually more like a system of switches that you can turn on and off, and you can turn them on and off also with behavioral elements, like how you eat, how you exercise, what are your emotions, what are your beliefs, how do you relate to other people or to the world, how do you speak, and you have control over those things too. So in Asia, it's very obvious that the decrease or the deterioration of eyesight is due also to behavioral and social conditions. Again, screens have arrived in Asia much faster than in other parts of the world. And there's a lot of social pressure to be successful, to study, to honor your family. So all of these accumulate, and they create a lot of work near, like looking near very often, with that stress and social pressure around it. So that's the reason why there's been so many problems, vision problems in Asia. So again, you can have direct action on all of these elements.